My name is Saida Shah, and today we are here at Surrey Jamia Mosque to get a little bit of insight on the protests that took place in June of 2017. Let's see how the chairman of the mosque feels about the protest.
The protest that took place here, protesting against Islamophobia, they got the right to protest, but the protest itself, I didn't agree with it.
The RCMP was also called for safety precautions, and here is what they had to say.
Protesting, just don't engage them. Let them speak. Let them do what they need to do. We've spoken to them. They said they'll be peaceful. My only recommendation is that we don't engage them and finish your prayer and go about your day. Does anybody have any questions?
That's all. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Islamophobia, and it's a bill that liberals are introducing. So just my advice is don't engage them. Have a peaceful prayer and go about your day. We'll be here. We'll make sure they don't engage you in any type of criminal way, and I ask the same of everybody here. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be outside.
Let's see what locals have to say about this gathering.
My name is Ms. Nasir. I live in Surrey, BC, very close to the Surrey Masjid, about 7-8 minute drive. I was 12 when I moved to Canada. Surrey is home basically. So when the news of somebody posted a video about a protest happening in Surrey Masjid, and we've been all it came as a surprise because this is something we had expected in the States. Never expected something like this in Canada, and let alone Vancouver. Like, people mind their own business, and never had heard of any kind of event incidents like they were happening in the States. So it came. I think the general public was shocked that something like this could happen in Vancouver and in front of a mosque, and it's not even like a mosque notorious for like angry sermons or anything that you usually hear people against. It's a very balanced mosque, and the association is never in any controversy, and you never hear about them in the mainstream media about preaching anything. So I think general public was surprised, and I think Canadian Muslims, it was kind of surprised, yes, number one, but it is disheartening because when the attack in the masjid in Quebec happened, that was like disheartening to the point that you couldn't believe it. I still read about it, and it feels like it never happened. Like, how could it happen in Canada? That's more likely the reason, because we are a culture of accept and tolerance, and multiculturalism is a big part of our identity. There's no true Canadian identity. We always hear about that. There's no true Canadian identity. It's all it's very multicultural. You get to maintain your heritage. I get to dress what I want. I get to believe in what I want, and nobody's asking me to assimilate, let's say. It's not a melting pot. I always heard that in school. It's not a melting pot. This is a mosaic. So you get to keep your identity, but you make part of you're like a tile in the whole mosaic. So when this happened, I think Muslims became disheartened and also alarmed became more vigilant. My mom, once this happened, my mom wants me to look out for myself in the SkyTrain. Always look for crazy people, or don't be alone in the. I've traveled late in the SkyTrain when I'm like myself and one more person in the train, and that's it. But never felt threatened for my safety. But things like that happened, and you have to be vigilant. I don't stand close to the tracks anymore, because you hear about people pushing in the States. You hear about people pushing people in front of the trains, and it's better to be safe. You would never think of something like that in Vancouver a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't happen. Even September 11th didn't I didn't think it had an effect like that because it didn't happen here, and you didn't expect Canadians to behave that way. But knowing that there is a group in Canada who can do something like that, who will protest on something like that, and in front of a masjid, yeah, it was disheartening.
This has been your update on what has been taking place at Surrey Jamia Mosque. KPU Journalism Beyond the News, Saida Shah.